All right, hello and welcome to episode 65 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, Jacques Slade. Well,
What up? What
it's
up?
been
What
a
up?
long day, man. What are we doing? It's been a long day.
It has been a very long day. I think both of us have had quite the day. But you know what? We're here for the podcast because we love the people that listen to the podcast. So shout out to everybody that's checking in. As you said, I'm Jacques Slade. That's Juan. Got a mixed bag of a show for you today. Some stuff that I don't want to say has made me angry, but some stuff that just struck me awkwardly. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Just I was confused by. So I'll let Juan intro everything, but stick around.
Yes.
It's going to be a very interesting show.
Yeah, I know. It's a very interesting show. Let's start this off with, how was your Thanksgiving?
Amazing.
Any good food, stories, anything you want to share with the class, really?
Food's always good. My family can cook. I have my family gets down. Like everybody that brings food gets down. I'm probably the worst cook of them all. And I bring dessert, so that kind of helped. That I guess skirt around the rules of making something really good and something really tasty. So shout out to the family. They always putting it down. Always fun for me. Get to hang out with like basically the entire family. We all get together. So there's usually between 20 and 30 people at any given holiday. Yep. So it's always exciting catching up with everybody, seeing everybody, swapping stories and, seeing what everybody's going through and things like that. So it's cool. It's awesome. I love it. Thanksgiving's one of my favorite holidays.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Yeah, my end, same thing. But like we talked about before, we're not big on the traditional Thanksgiving. It's more like, hey, man, it's another excuse to get together and eat Filipino food. So we do that.
Yeah.
And so, we just enjoy it. And, same thing. Like, we gather around, tell stories and all that stuff. Thankfully, as, it's been a running tradition ever since I've been alive. No politics talk. Thank you. That never, ever comes up because we all know better. Even if we all, we have different viewpoints and all that stuff, we just don't bring it up because why? Why ruin a holiday by bringing up stuff that you're just going to get annoyed by? So we just don't talk about it. And that is that. It's all good. Really. It's okay. It's for the best. It's really for the best when we all know, nah, don't even bring it up. Nobody say nothing.
I respect it. We generally don't talk politics, but I think everybody in my family for the most part is pretty aligned on politics.
Right.
So there's really nothing to argue about. But
yeah,
I can't imagine if there was someone with a dissenting view, how, I don't want to say explosive, but how interesting things would get very quickly. My family's very opinionated when it comes to stuff like that. And so it would be disheartening to see someone, I want to say disheartening, but it would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting because they would definitely have to hold their own and really show why they're thinking that way, especially considering the dynamic of the family and the histories and stories of people in the family. So it would be interesting. So yeah, but it's always good.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say on my part, like I said, like our family generally aligned too, but then, there's one or two and it's like, why? Like considering where you came from, the history of our country, and it's like, why? It's always like, why? But like I said, they know better than to really bring it up, especially during like the holidays and everything. But yeah, man, like besides that, like I had a interesting moment, like, because when you get like this free time and really do a lot of things, you get like play video games, you kind of like, take care of like Black Friday, holiday shopping and all that stuff. But I thought there was something interesting that happened where I had not played Fortnite, the video game, for like, what was it, like a couple years? But I came back recently this month because The Simpsons was a big deal in Fortnite. They had like a whole season based on The Simpsons. Like they recreated like a virtual Springfield. So you could like basically
That's
run
cool.
around. Yeah, yeah. So it was like it was basically fueling like my nostalgia brain of like, watching The Simpsons in the '90s. So you could like, run around in Springfield, and it was funny because in Fortnite you had all of these different IPs coming together, right? All these different characters from different shows, like athletes. Like it was funny because like I had like a character that's LeBron James, and I got him like sitting on The Simpsons couch, and it's like this doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah,
This
this
is
doesn't make
the
sense at all in the
this
slightest
shouldn't
form. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, with the game you earn like your emotes. So I don't know if you know like the I am evil Homer, I am evil Homer bit where it's like Homer Simpson's like doing like he's dancing with maracas and he's doing like
Hmm.
saying like he's evil Homer because he's dressed up in a devil outfit. So I made
Yeah.
Giannis do that. Like I also have Giannis as a skin, so I'm like Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing the I am evil Homer bit, and it's like what are we doing here? This is just nuts. Like it's just crazy how like we are allowing like these different characters to do these things that you would just never imagine. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And
That's
then
fun
you got,
though. That's fun
yeah, it
though.
is. Like, there's a part of me that's like, this is just like bastard. Like, there's this purest part of me that's like, we are bastardizing like our beloved franchises and our intellectual properties. But then there's the part of me that's like, what's funny? Watching a Dragon Ball character do the Dougie.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like, wait,
Yes.
okay. It's like all of those highfalutin thoughts that I have in my mind kind of go away when we see like, freaking like the Mandalorian. He does the Rick Astley, the never gonna give you up bit. It's like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
I kind of get over it once I see something that's funny like that. But like the new
Yeah.
thing that's after the Simpsons season, like I, tried to play like the following season, which I guess now they're like in a different version of Hollywood where it's like you got Kill Bill in there, characters from Kill Bill are in there. And it's neat because they've also like they've created this new like extension to the story, which is like directed by Quentin Tarantino, and it's like, wow, like that's how big like a Fortnite is. Like they can tell you like the extension of like a story from Kill Bill. And part of that too is like there's like this anime short where it's like characters that you didn't see in a movie, they're like coming in here. And it's like, whoa. It's
Mm.
crazy to me like how huge this game has become that it's basically this like pop culture mishmash and everything comes together and it's like it just
Yeah.
makes sense to everybody. It's like, yeah, no, it makes sense that Kill like, the bride would be in this game and she's wearing Nike mags and like slicing fools. It's like, okay, sure, yeah, and that's one of the first rewards of the new season is that you can get the Nike mag, and I just thought it'd be funny to have them like put the Nike mag on like people shouldn't be wearing the Nike mag. For example, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, noted Skechers endorser, is wearing Nike mags. So it's like, yeah, okay. I guess no one cleared that. No one, no. I guess the people at Nike and Fortnite and everybody else were like, yeah, she shouldn't be wearing those, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, or the rule is anything goes in the virtual world. It's the virtual world, so it's not the same. So long as Snoop
Yeah,
isn't playing as himself and wearing Nike mags, but even then, does it matter if it's all digital?
it could, maybe it doesn't, but it's also funny to me that they also sell other digital sneakers. Like I guess in the shop there's like Stan Smiths, Superstars. I think there was like a Feel issue that I saw, or Converse Chuck Taylors, and it's like, wait, I don't have like others characters. Like I thought like it'd be funny if there was like a character there. Like if I think Shaq is in the game somewhere, but I've
Mm.
never unlocked the skin or bought the skin of Shaq. But I guess you could may have Shaq wear Nike Dunks. I mean that would be weird, but also it would just be like, okay, well I guess nothing matters. Nothing matters. It's all good, fun and good. Like in this particular space, I guess like in the outside world, this would be kind of a big deal. But here in the digital Fortnite world, where nothing matters, it's just all in good fun, I guess. No one throws a fuss about it, which is both fun. Like I think it's pretty cool that it's not meant to be like a big deal. It's more just like, haha, check that out. That's kind of like a haha funny kind of thing.
Yeah, Fortnite's a very much rule-free world, so it'd be weird for them to be following the legal restrictions of their real-world contracts. Although I'm sure brands don't necessarily like that, but with the power that Fortnite has, the brands just kind of accept it at this point because what's their recourse? Oh, well, don't put my stuff in the game.
Yeah,
But having your stuff in the game means you've reached a certain level of pop culture notoriety and you're cool to a certain extent. So for a
Yeah.
brand to be like, we don't want Snoop wearing our Nikes is probably a deal breaker for the team at Fortnite. And so they just let it happen.
Yeah.
They made it a
Well,
precedent a long time ago. And so now everybody else has to agree to that, that whatever comes in the game or whatever exclusive quote unquote thing is in the game that people buy, they can use it for whatever they want. They
yeah.
technically own it. It's like an NFT one.
Oh God. I thought we had left that in 2022, man. I thought we had left that in 2022.
We did.
Oh my
We did.
gosh. We did. Thank
We did.
goodness too.
We've
Thank
definitely
goodness too.
did.
Something that also should have been left in 22 or really in any year. I thought I just shared this anecdote, which I thought was like a urban legend, but it turns out it actually is a thing that can happen to you. Jacques, have you ever been like, I don't know, like, you're just outside your front yard or whatever, or you're at the parking lot of a Target, a Walmart or whatever. And, some random dude just drives up to you in a truck in a kind of sketchy looking truck, kind of weird looking thing. And he just looks at you as like, hey, want to buy some steaks? And you're like, wait, what? You're confused, right? You're like, wait, steaks? Like steaks as in steaks that I can like, cook and all that stuff. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and this happens. Okay. So this happened to me. I'm inside my garage, like the door's open. And, like some dude is just like passing by in this pickup truck. And he just looks at it like, kind of sketchy looking dude with the shades and all that stuff. And he offers to sell me steaks. And I'm like, nah, I'm okay, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. But no, no, I'm good. And he's like, you like seafood? And I'm like, oh, this is new. I've I thought it was just like in my mind, I was already thinking about these stories about people being offered steaks, right? And I'm like, I just didn't have a recourse afterwards. I'm like, seafood? He's like, yeah, you like shrimp? I'm like, nah, sir. I was like, and then my mind went back to like normal. I was like, no, oh, I'm allergic to shrimp. I'm allergic to shrimp. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, man. And then finally he's like, chicken? And I'm like, what is in your trunk? That you have steak, seafood, shrimp, maybe shrimp, and chicken. Like, I'm not sure how big like what I just thought this was like a made up story that people are like, making up like, oh yeah, man, like some random weirdo was like selling me steaks. Like I'm assuming these are stolen goods or something. Or have you heard of the one where like people are like, offering you speakers or something? Like, hey man, I got like these speakers that are hot and all that stuff. Like I've heard that too. I'm like, I just thought these were just like stuff people made up. And it turns out, nah, it's real. It's a real thing
Yeah.
that actually happened to me, and I'm like, I was just genuinely shocked. I was like, oh, I did not expect that to happen to me on a random. What was it? Was it Sunday morning or Monday morning? I forget what it was, but yeah, man, just a random occurrence that I just thought was a urban legend, but it turns out is a real thing. So, has that ever happened to you, man?
I have had that happen to me, not
Oh wow.
recently.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you know what? No, that's a lie. Because probably like 2 weeks ago, they were
Oh.
on my street doing it. But the guy was pretty quick about it. Hey, you want to buy some stuff? And I was like, nah, we just went to Costco, bro. And he was like, all right, and then he left. But I remember years ago, in our old house, there was a guy that would come around every so often and try to sell us steaks and chicken and seafood all the time. It was a thing. We never purchased it from him, but I've seen neighbors that did it. So I'm
Oh.
assuming that it's pretty legit because it wasn't like a sketchy truck. It looked nice. It was one of
Oh.
those like refrigerated kind of trucks. So
Oh, okay,
that
okay, okay.
I'm under the assumption that it was pretty legit, but
Mm.
it's a thing. It's a thing. I don't remember what it was called, but I think there's a company that does it. I'm not sure of the
Mm.
name of the company, but I know there's a place, like a specific company that does do that, like the mail order meat catalog things. You
Sure.
should probably get them in your junk mail all the
Oh,
time. So it's a
probably.
legit thing, but they just have door to door salesmen as well, in addition to the stuff that just comes in your junk mail.
I would imagine, like, if the person was a little bit more, shall we say, not looking like he just like just came out of like, robbing like the Stater Brothers or something, I would be a little bit more oh, okay, maybe I wouldn't do it because I'm just, very sketchy, but like, I probably wouldn't trust something like that, especially the seafood, you know. I'm not gonna trust anybody who's just like randomly showing up in their pickup truck and be like, "Hey man, you want some seafood?" I'm like, "No, nah, man, I'm Asian. I know what good seafood looks like, and I know what." I I'm not particularly interested in that unless I know specifically the sources. But yeah, I guess if the person was a little bit more presentable, like maybe presentable is not the right word, but someone who's just a little bit more professional, shall we say? Like the truck is a little bit more cleaner, and maybe there's like a sign, right, a phone number, or kind of like those businesses, right? Like sometimes someone wants to offer like cut your trees and all that stuff, right? They got like their signs on the side of their trucks, like plastered on there. So yeah, maybe it was that a little bit more trustworthy, but this one was just straight out of that myth, like that myth that you're like, this doesn't actually happen, but it does happen. So you're like, I don't know, I don't know where you got these poultry or this produce or the seafood from. So I'm not gonna. I'm okay. I'm gonna do a hard pass on that one.
Got it. You want to see him in a quarter zip with a matcha? I got you. I got you. A quarter zip and a matcha will get you. Okay. All right. All right. I respect it.
Look, man, I have my standards, man. You gotta when it comes to that kind of stuff, you kind of have to set your boundaries and your standards and all that stuff, man. I'm just
No,
saying. I'm
no,
just saying.
no judgment here. No judgment here.
Well,
No judgment here.
moving on with the show, the actual meat of the show.
Wow.
I wanted to
Wow.
talk about the yeah. So see that was a killer segue there. Yeah, man, that's what happens when it gets late at night. We come up with these amazing ideas.
These amazing segues.
Segues. So I wanted to talk about this reel that you posted the other day, which seems to have gotten a lot of traction because it's in response to another reel that was posted by, I'm assuming, a reseller. And they
Mm-hmm.
were talking about how the sneaker store is dying. And you kind of, gave a very well thought out, well put together retort to that. Basically, these resellers are kind of going through it right now. They're struggling.
Yes.
A lot of stores are closing. Like I've noticed it too. Like, when you go to the mall, sometimes you would see like, what was it, like 2, 3 years ago, you see 3 or 4 reseller shops pop up and you're like, what? Whoa, there's a lot of reseller stores here selling the same inventory. No
Yeah.
sneakers beyond like 2020. Nothing particularly old or anything. It's not like your Rifts, your Fly Clubs or anything like that, where they've got the old stuff too. This one's very like, all the new stuff, but
Yeah.
in 2025, not so much. There's a lot of stores shutting down. And here's the thing is like, I don't like to see people, if they have their heart sent into it, like, they have a dream, they want to start a business, all that stuff. It's kind of sucks to see when you see, especially those with good intentions, right? But at the
Right.
same time, it's like you also see that a lot of these resellers, they do come across as, the vultures, as they say, the ones who are only swooping in who want to like, make a quick buck. So those people have a little bit less sympathy for. Um, but yeah, you basically had a retort that it was like, no, things are different now. Um,
Yeah.
like the people like to say nature is healing and that kind of stuff, where it's kind of getting back to how it used to be, in terms of like resellers not being as prevalent as they were, and now sneakerheads are getting the opportunity to be able to recapture that same magic and like being able to buy sneakers now that they weren't able to in the
Yeah.
past.
I think it's. I do think it's we're in a different place in the sneaker market. The
Right.
popularity of sneakers has waned, which I think is a cause for a lot of the strife that these resellers are having. There's also the fact that the past, let's say 5 years, resellers were selling to resellers, and that
Mm-hmm.
artificially propped up prices and allowed them to have a profit margin that was really unrealistic. And they based their businesses off of that unrealistic profit margin as opposed to what the resale market really does in a quote unquote downtime. So while some I think will last the storm, there are going to be a lot of resellers, I think, that go out of business or that have to shift the product that they use the most because there's not sneakers is not going to be able to support it. So it's, I don't wish harm on any of these resellers. I don't wish have any bad intentions for them, but it is a changing market and they are going to have to adapt if they plan on staying in business.
And how do you feel about that? Like oh, so that's why sneaker culture is dying because the sneakers aren't cool anymore. They're not as hard to get. Like part of the appeal was like it was so hard to get, and I'm like, why? Like, don't you just like it
I,
because you
I
like it?
do think that was part of the appeal. I don't disagree with that. I think that's just basic human nature. Everyone wants something that they can't have. But I think the challenge was it got so hard to get things. It wasn't a matter of this is something that I can't have. It got outrageously hard or outrageously expensive to get that thing. And then the
Yeah.
other side of it, reps have gotten so good now that unless you actually have the shoe in your hand, you probably can't tell what's real and what's fake. And a lot of people, they're open to just wearing reps and letting that be. They don't need to have the quote unquote real thing when they can get a rep of it for a tenth of the price that looks just as good and feels just as good.
Hmm.
It was different when the rep market was putting together these terrible versions of shoes that are already out. I think now with resale prices being so high, it allowed these rep makers to go, hey, we can invest and really do really dope looking shoes that look pretty much identical to the original and
Hmm.
still make our profit margin as opposed to dumbing down the materials and making it look cheap and not having the shape and all of that stuff right. So it's a changed game. And both the brands and the resellers need to adjust their strategies in order to maintain just the status quo. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people to do that.
Right. Well, how do you feel about there's this other argument where people are no longer content to wear the hype sneakers. Well, I mean, when I say by hype sneakers, I mean like your Jordans, your retros, and all of that, where, they're not the most comfortable pair of sneakers. And, now this is the era of like the comfy era where people are looking for comfort, looking for the sneakers that are easy to walk in or to run in or to do whatever in. Like, how do you feel about that particular argument where like we're just in the comfy era now but then there's also the counter argument to that is like, well, it's less about the sneakers being comfortable and more about that's where the attention now is. It just so happens that these sneakers are comfortable, whether it's your Hokas, your Ons, your New Balances. Like, how do you feel about that particular side of this argument where it's like, oh, well, is it because it's comfortable? Or is it because the comfortable shoes are the hype shoes at the moment?
I think it's the hype shoes are the comfortable shoes at the moment. I think the trend is turning towards running, or the trend turned towards
Yeah.
running shoes and different
Hmm.
iterations of running shoes, as opposed to the boom of basketball shoes, which was in the 2010s. Now it's all about runners and running adjacent shoes, and that's where the Ons and the Hokas and the Nike Air Max and all those guys really get to cook because that's just trendy now. That's what people are wearing. That's why New Balance is so hot. That's why Saucony is so hot. The Heritage Runner, the new Modern Runner, all of those are really taking up space in like the pop culture zeitgeist now.
Yeah.
And that's why
Hmm.
people are so excited by them.
Yeah. So let's kind of play this out though. Like, let's say we are both reseller store owners.
Hmm.
How do we survive in 2025 and beyond? Like, what is the strategy in terms of like being able to weather the storm where it's like it's not as easy as it was before where everybody, because the thing is like I think part of the reason too why these sneaker resellers were able to like do what they do is because it was easy to identify the hot stuff. It was like it's easy because it's Nike, it's Jordan, it's Kanye, it's Adidas, these Yeezys and all that stuff. Right now Now that there's more brands, like, it could be like the hot New Balance 990s, whatever of the moment, or it's the hot Asics of the moment, or the hot Hokas or Ons and all that. Like, how are these, what can these sneaker resellers do in order to survive what's going on right now? Like, what should be their, like, their strategy moving forward instead of like just being this woe is me stuff, which I guess kind of did the job for them. It's like, cause as I also look back on that reel that you presented, and I look back to like what other people were talking about, like, and I found the original reel, and there was a couple of comments there was like, "What store is this? What store is this? What store is this?" And I'm like, well, I guess this person got kind of what he wanted, is like
Mm.
kind of shined a little bit of attention on his store, whereas like if he was just doing what he was normally doing and did not post his woe is me stuff, he probably would have gone out of business. Like maybe this bumped up his business a little bit by doing this woe is me stuff and kind of got people paying attention to his store at the very least. Like, who knows if that'll actually be the thing that saves the day. But but if it weren't, we weren't the ones like doing the stuff on Instagram or social media or whatever, like, saying like, oh my gosh, like it's not the same as it once was. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, but if we have to look at it from a general, like, okay, what can we do to get to get through this and to come out of it, like maybe not thrive, but then, surviving through it.
Are you say if with me being as a reseller, I think the thing that I would focus on is making sure my customers feel like they are getting value for what they buy and that they're not
Hmm.
getting raked over the coals. And
Yeah.
I think that's is the challenge that most of these resellers face, is that the customer now is educated enough to know, one, how much the shoes cost, what your markup is going to be. And I think they're considering that when they're making purchasing decisions and letting the resellers know, like, yo, I'm not going to let you charge me this insane amount of money for
Yeah.
this shoe. I think it's just a smarter consumer that's a little bit more aware of the market, and it's also a frustrated consumer that's aware of the market. The A reseller now has to find a way to make to translate to give the customer a feeling of value when they're buying something. What did the customer gain outside of that shoe? And I think that's a tough pill for the resellers to swallow, because they didn't have to market before. They could
Yeah.
just sell it based on the merits of the shoe. But
Hmm.
now they're going to have to do a little more work, and they're going to have to provide value for the customer.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they have to provide that value. Build a community, right? Like, get these repeat customers in there, whatever you have to do in order to get them to, not necessarily feel like they're being ripped off or anything like that. Like, find your ways to build this community with these people, your customer base, and not just have
Hmm.
like, one offs. Like, there's definitely, I'm sure there's a lot of people who come into these sneaker stores and they see the sneaker that they want and they're like, oh, it's cost this much. And these people who are trying to sell this to me are kind of jerks. Fine, I'll buy it anyway because, whether I need this or I'm buying this for somebody,
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it. But then I'm never going to come back here again because, whether the customer service was bad or I felt like, this was not, the price was felt like a ripoff or something like that. So
Yep.
these resellers, they have to find a way to, whether it's through social media or whether it's through different, ways to outreach and to get people interested into the store and like try to bring in people, to get them interested into not necessarily reselling, but whatever is in there too, right? Like, cause that's the thing too, is with these reseller shops, they've also moved on to the other stuff, whether it's Labubus and trading cards and all that stuff where, yeah, you're coming in there and you're like, and that's the other thing too, is like, you want to be able to present them like, hey, I'm doing a service to the community because I'm finding these things that maybe you wouldn't be able to get. Like, it'd be nice if these stores, they had those old sneakers from like the 2000s and the 90s, and you get that nostalgia hit from like, those old customers are like, oh man, I can't even find these online or something like that, right? Like, reseller, they basically, these stores have to work a little bit harder now, and that's a good point. Is like they have to work a little bit extra. Where before it was like they were just picking up money off the street. They're like just
Right.
picking it up and just getting it and all that stuff. It was easy for them. So now that they actually have to do the work, which is funny because every time I see these, resellers crying on the internet, it's like they're like you see a lot of comments like, "Oh, finally, now you have to go get a real job." I'm like, well, what they're doing is a job. It's not the job that you
Yeah.
like. It's not a job that you particularly are, agreeable with, but it's still a job to them.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now they actually have now their job is to be able to maintain that, that business. And, maybe the positive outcome out of all of this is that these resellers will actually give something back now
Yep.
instead of just taking and taking and taking. It's like now they have this opportunity to like refocus, restructure, and to actually just give back now to the community that, maybe felt like the people felt like them being ripped off now. Like now it's like, oh, it's your turn to like, kind of give back to us. And
Yep.
so
They've
we
got
can
to
keep
add
you
value
guys
for the
alive.
customer. Yep. They've
Keep
got
you
to add
guys alive.
value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally. Well, anyways, I think we're going to be in for like a very interesting next couple of months. And well, 2026 is going to be interesting. 2027, like to see how these resellers adapt to the current situation where it's not as easy as it was before. All right. So moving on to our next topic, Jacques. Do you think if we pooled both of our collective monies together, how seriously do you think Puma would take seriously our bid to buy the company? Like if
I
we
think they would
combine both of our
laugh us
money,
out
yeah.
of the room. They would laugh us out of the room.
What?
I don't even think I
What?
could play for this. I don't even make enough money to pay the salary of the person that works at the Puma store, let alone buy the entire company. This, to be fair, this is one of the more interesting things that's
Yes.
been floating around in the sneaker or footwear world is Puma
Hmm.
being up for sale and courting basically bidders. I think it's the Penalt family, like a rich French family owns Puma.
Yeah. Hmm.
So they're shopping it around. I think the most interesting play is a Chinese brand buying Puma.
Right.
And I think I sent you this article about there's a potential for ANTA to buy Puma,
There's
which would
potential.
be
Yes. Hmm.
which would be massive, and it would be a great change for ANTA. I don't know how well Puma would fare, but based on what I've seen ANTA do, they kind of leave the brands alone to do
Interesting.
what they've already been doing,
Hmm.
and then they're just underneath that envelope. But grabbing Puma would open up the world of distribution that Puma has to ANTA,
Right.
which could be really interesting considering some of the ANTA stuff that we've seen and how good it is.
Right. Right. Now, the thing that I found interesting about this is that this is kind of a total flip of the narrative of Puma has been going through, like, they've been presenting themselves throughout the past, I don't even know, like a decade, right? Ever since
Mm-hmm.
they signed Rihanna, they've been talking about like, how they made a huge comeback in the sneaker world and how people are like buying Pumas and all that. They had like their moment with Lewis Hamilton with F1. They're sponsoring a bunch of F1 teams. If you notice on the grid, there's a lot of, teams that have like the Puma logo on it. And then they made a big splash back in basketball. They made Jay-Z creative director. I have no idea what the status of that relationship is now. They've got Breonna Stewart, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton. They've all got signature shoes. So if you weren't paying attention to like the business side of it, you'd probably thought, oh, Puma's just been riding a pretty decent wave for the past several years or so, right? Like things seem to be going
Yeah.
well. And you look at
Yeah.
how we talk about like LaMelo stuff. We talk about like LaMelo Ball signature shoe line and how it seems to be doing well for the brand and how a lot of kids are really invested in the LaMelo Ball of it all. You would
Yep.
think things were going great. But then you hear this news about, layoffs from Puma and how they've had to like restructure the company. They brought in a new CEO and how, their new vision for the future hasn't really panned out as much as they wanted to. Like, hasn't panned out like they wanted to. And now you hear about this news about, like that family who wants to put up their share, which is I think is like what 29% or something, which
Uh,
whoever would I forget what the percentage is, but like whoever would buy that would basically have like control over the company, basically.
control over the company. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it feels just like a total flip of the narrative. Because if you weren't, like I said, if you weren't paying attention to this side, you would just think, oh, everything's hunky dory at Puma, right? You would think things are going well, but it turns out that's not the case. So I guess my thing is now is that I wonder if part of it is like because we talked about the Lamella Ball. I mean, we talk about him constantly on Hard Pass. We talk about him on the podcast. So I thought it was interesting to me, where it's like, oh man, maybe Lamelo is not the it's not the influencer that he thought we were. Like, it feels like we do see a lot of kids wearing Lamelo, and I see it too. Like, I see a lot of kids wearing Lamelo stuff, especially like in basketball, like for hooping and everything, right? But it's interesting to me that maybe it hasn't had like the halo effect, like the effect of like kids buying into Lamelo, but not necessarily buying into Puma. Whereas,
Okay,
let's
got you.
say with, when it comes to like, Nike, for all of it's like, they're an athletic company, tech company and all that stuff, but they're a marketing company first and foremost. Like they market their athletes, to buy their stuff and all that. And, they're really good at the marketing for the most part. But they sign LeBron James because they know that the kids, the people will buy LeBron James stuff, but they'll also event like, maybe not graduate, but like move over to also buying Nike socks, Nike
Mm,
shirts,
yeah.
backpacks. So it seems like maybe with LaMelo, the kids buy the LaMelo stuff, the MB zeros, the La Francaise and all that, but maybe they're not necessarily, moving over to like the other Puma stuff. And I'm not pinning this all on LaMelo, but I feel like a huge part of like, the chatter on sneaker culture has always been like, oh, he's huge for the brand. He's huge for the brand, but maybe not as huge as we all thought initially.
Yeah. I mean, he's very unique, and I think his personality definitely stands out, which on one side is great for Puma overall, but for some reason that's just not translating to sales outside of himself. We can point back to Rihanna working with Puma, at least
Hmm.
back the first time, I should
The
say,
first time, press.
and
Yeah.
how that really brought the brand up to a different level. And I think
Hmm.
LaMelo did the same thing. It's just that LaMelo isn't catching on in the worldwide phase. I think there was a campaign brief put together for Melo, and it was stated that he was going to go for the younger demographic.
Yeah.
And I think that changes the perspective of how well the brand is doing when you go after the young demographic as opposed to the middle age, not shouldn't say middle age, like the 20, 30-year-old
Yeah.
guys
Hmm.
versus the 8 and 10-year-old guys. Those guys are having two different conversation and looking for two different things. So it's interesting to see that they're on the block and that the family wants to divest themselves,
Yeah.
but they have the public recognition and the public knowledge. I just don't think they're utilizing their brand well enough or telling people how to feel about their brand quite enough.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be interesting moving forward. Like, say an Anta or Leaning does make a move to purchase Puma. It'd be interesting,
Mhm.
right? Would they do what Adidas did with Reebok? Or would they go a
Right.
different route? Whether it's like letting them do their own thing or taking over, absorbing Puma in a way where it's like, I don't like it'd be weird to just get rid of the Puma, history. It'd be weird to just get rid
Yeah,
of the Puma
that
brand
would be
altogether.
weird.
That would be weird. But I wonder if like there would be like a merging somehow of like Puma and where like Puma is more like because there's always gonna be this weird like thing where it's like I don't wear Chinese brands. I don't want to wear a Chinese branded shoe where it's like weird because like a lot of our sneakers are made in China. So, like maybe they use Puma as like their Trojan horse to like infiltrate like other markets, like say in America or something. Like even though like Anta's already doing the thing with Kyrie, right? But maybe Puma is like another way that they can use to like because Puma's a little bit more acceptable, I guess, to like an American audience or something like that, right? And we start to see like little things show up, like trickling through, whether it's like, like Kyrie and like Lamelo teaming up on something, right? Where it's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like this weird merging where it's like it's not totally making sense in my head, but it's like somehow it's also making sense in my head where it's like, wait, could we see like wearing like a Puma or like Clay Thompson wear like a Puma tracksuit or something like that, where it's like, oh, okay, so Clay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, they're cool, especially Kyrie. Kai, definitely
Right.
has like,
Right.
like kind in the same way like LaMelo has like this hold on like the younger hoopers. Kyrie
Hmm.
has his hold on like teenagers to like 20, 30 somethings who are like, oh man, I just love the way he dribbles the basketball. He's so creative and all that stuff. And he has
Yeah.
thoughts. So like if we were to see Kyrie like, do a Anta Kyrie Puma something collab, they'd be like, oh, okay, I can get interested in Puma or something. I could get interested in Anta or something like that. So I'd be interested to see how that would play out. It's just it's just a little bit of a bummer though, just because to hear like the stories, because we've been kind of telling the story about like Puma coming back for so long that it's like, oh, it turns out they did
Yeah.
come back, but they've also kind of they've actually fallen off a cliff as well. We didn't actually tell that story about the falling off the cliff part. We're just like we were so content to be like, oh man, they came back, good for them. They were so down in the dumps in like the 2000s where no one gave a crap and all that stuff. And then with
Hmm.
Rihanna, they came back and all that. We were just so happy for them, and then we just forgot to do the follow through. Like the follow up to like what's because it's a never ending story, right? Like you think, oh, they came back, everything's good, then it's like, oh, it turns out there's actually more to this story than like the happy comeback. It's like, oh, oops, like it just keeps going and it never actually ends, and you're like, oh, damn, oop, did not expect that. But anyways, yeah, I just thought it was an interesting like swerve to like the Puma comeback story. Really, it's like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And just because they're up for sale, I don't know if that necessarily means they're doing bad. It could
Yeah.
just be a business that the family wants to get out of. I'll
Hmm.
need to research a little bit more.
It's just that like the stock is so down compared to like year to date, right? Like compared to like at the
Oh, well
start
then
of the
there you
year.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, so seems like it might be like the wise move, like just from a pure cold hard cold hearted business standpoint, like it might be just a move to like move on. So yeah, man. Yeah. Have you heard of Sneakers Code, Jacques?
I've heard of it
Uh,
because I just looked it up, but I don't know much about it. But I honestly don't know if I want to know about it just because I don't need any additional stress or any more hoops to jump through in order to get a pair of shoes.
yes.
They
So, oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say the team at Nike really managed to push me away from even opening up the app on a consistent basis. I used to open the app 2, 3 times a day sometimes.
Hmm.
Now I open it once a month, twice a month if it's
Yeah.
something that I really, really want. I'll usually
Yeah.
just go somewhere else and get it. That way I don't have to deal with the hassle.
Yeah, totally. So, for those who do not know, Sneakers Code is the latest gimmick in a long, well, yeah, a recent run of gimmicks that Nike has introduced in order to get people, interested again in the sneakers app. So, with
Mhm.
Sneakers Code, this time they're offering up like, exclusive access to these sneakers. And how they're going to do that is through this special code, this password.
Code.
Now, yes, code. Now that you have to enter, whether on the sneakers app, and now you have to do a little bit of like, treasure hunting and digging and like going through
Yeah.
like people's social channels or looking through like clues that they drop on the app. And it's like,
Yeah.
shoot me in the head. Cause I thought, so here's the thing. When sneakers code, when I first heard about it, I was like, wait, is this different from sneakers? Or like, it was like earlier this year where they introduced like a new thing where it's like, oh, we're introducing this new thing called Sneakers Link, where, if you follow your favorite influencer and they happen to be tied to the Nike
Yeah.
brand, if you follow their socials, maybe they'll drop a link in their stories or something or you click a link in the bio and it'll give you exclusive access to a sneakers. And it's
Yeah.
like, wait a
I
minute.
remember
So
that.
sneakers link is different from sneakers code, which is different from sneakers reserve, which is also different from Jordan reserve, which is their term for like, restocks and all that stuff. Sneakers reserve was the pre-order campaign, which after like the Kobe 3 Protro thing, I don't think they've used again? Question mark.
Right.
And then
Not
this
that I
is
know
different.
of.
Exactly. And this is different from sneakers maps, which is, hey, if you happen to live in a large metropolitan area, we'll hook you up and tell you where like the sneakers are at. But if you live out in, a flyover state, you're SOL. It's like, too
Basically.
bad. Yeah.
Basically.
So let me get this straight. Nike introduced not one, not two, not three, but four separate gimmicks in order for us to get interested in Sneakers app once again. But it seems like they have failed miserably at this job, man. It seems like this is just another like, wait, what? You're making us do okay. So you had us like following all these randos that we don't even care for. I mean, no offense to like Eric Costin, right? Wasn't that one of the first like sneakers link things? It's like you had to follow Costin on his socials and he'll drop a link or something. It's like, so if I don't want to
Oh,
follow this
okay.
particular athlete, I have to follow them in order to get the sneakers that I want. Great, fantastic. Like, oh, so now you're asking us to like stay tuned, like, oh, keep looking at the app, searching for like some special password or code or something in order to buy like a sneaker. No, thanks. Like, this is part of like the whole sneaker reseller thing. Is like people are just tired, man. They just want the sneakers that they want, and they don't want to go through any other thing in order to get the sneakers that they want. They just want it available, and that's why these
Yeah,
competitors are
just give me
winning.
this shoe. Just give
Yeah,
me the shoe. I don't
just give me
need
the
to.
shoe.
You don't need to gamify it. You don't need to hide secret codes somewhere. Just let me buy the shoe and I'll go away in peace. Although, I mean, but I'm going to stop here because to be fair, I do like the idea of a treasure, like a treasure hunt for a pair of
Sure.
shoes. But at the same time, I don't want to jump through the hoops. And I also feel like they're going to do this on some BS and everybody's going to be like, but I don't even want that sneaker, first of all. So why would I go through the
Yeah,
whole thing? I mean, I do it probably just to do the maze, but
sure.
yeah.
I mean, this is also different from the dot swoosh stuff where it's like, oh, play this game in order to get exclusive
Yeah.
access to this Air Max 1 poly. So it's like they're making us go through all of this homework in order to just get a pair of sneakers when people really just want the sneakers. I guess this would be a little bit more acceptable in a better time, in a different time, where like people are able to get the sneakers that they want, where people are able to be, there's other avenues in order to get the sneakers. But if you want to do this extra special thing, like say it wasn't like, say if it was like a Jordan 1 or like whatever, an Air Max something, right? Where you can buy the regular sneakers if you want it, but we're offering you something special for this. Like if you do the scavenger hunt, you get like a special packaging. You get like, the same
I
thing
like
that,
that.
so something like that, right? Like, like say it's Air Max Day, right? Like, oh, we're offering, remember the, what was it? What was the Air Max 1 that had like the neon bubble? Like,
Oh,
say
like the
you're
first
able,
one?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, didn't that come in like a bubble, air bubble
A
package or
literal air
something?
bubble packaging.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So say they make the sneaker available on Sneakers app, like, people are just able to buy it if they want just the regular packaging. But if you want the special packaging with the air bubble, and, if you're lucky enough, maybe you get the one that's signed by Tinker. Hey, man, go do the scavenger hunt. Go do this special thing in order to get it. But if you just want the sneakers, just let us have it, man.
That's too easy, Juan. We're here to gamify things. We want to keep you on the app. We want to keep you addicted. So the answer is no. We'll
Damn.
do Sneaker's Code. Thank you very much.
Damn.
Next topic.
Damn.
Next topic. Thank you.
Okay. So what do you think the next gimmick is going to be? Like, let's kind of like,
Oh
I know it's,
gosh.
no, what will be like I know what it is. I think I know what it is. It's Sneakers Pokemon Go, where this time,
Oh.
like you have to go to like a specific location and then you have to stay there and like, wait for the sneakers to pop up, right? Where it's like, or if like, you're using the map, right? It's like, oh, like the whatever, the Travis Scott next thing is like, you have to go here to go get it or something like that. Where it's like, it's Sneakers Pokemon Go. Sneakers Go? Could that be the word? Could
Sneakers.
that be Sneakers
Sneakers go.
Go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sneakers
Sneakers
Go.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that, if, wouldn't it be funny if that was actually the thing that actually happened?
Hey,
Like
look,
that.
you never know. Sneakers goes. We're rolling with it. Sneakers go.
Sneakers go, as in as in go, get out of here with that stuff.
Get out of here.
Anyways,
Yeah.
get out of here with that stuff. Anyways, we're almost at the end of the show, Jacques. But before we go, it's time for everybody's favorite sneaker segment. It's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Buster.
Sneaker Mount Rushmore plus Mount Moore. Rushmore. I
Today,
have.
and I brought this, I sprung this on you today because I just
Yeah.
thought about this today too. And Jacques is looking through his his sneaker collection right now. If you don't know, this is like maybe 5% of his collection. He has like a super secret like storage unit that houses the rest.
All
And
right,
ooh,
all
Nelly,
right.
I've been there, and man, if you thought the Nike DNA archives place is like the happiest place on earth if you're a sneakerhead, I would venture to say Jacques Slade's storage unit is a close number two. Close number two. I'm not even gonna say it's the happiest place. It's number two. Number two.
This is all lies. All lies. Let's move on. Let's move
Okay.
on.
All right. So for today's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus, I am going to go. I forgot the title. It's the You Had to Be There Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus. Basically,
Okay.
these sneakers are particular sneakers that had a moment in the culture, whether it
Okay.
was a month, 6 months, a year. Basically, it just had it touched the zeitgeist. It was basically it was everything everybody was talking about. No one could shut up about it. But then it just kind of fell off a cliff. Kind of like what I guess what
Okay.
Puma's going through right now. Damn. Um, where it was like, oh, it had a moment, but now we kind of just look at it back now like, wait, it's either wait, I remember when that was huge, or man, I can't believe we were really into that sneaker during that time. Wow.
Yeah.
What were we thinking? It could be positive, it could be negative, but basically, I'm just talking about sneakers that we just like, whoa, it was like the biggest thing in the world, and now it's just not anymore. So,
Now it's not anymore. Okay. I got
yeah,
it. I
so
got
this could
to
be, we're just going to go through, we're not going to do it by brands this time. We're just going to go through like, 5 rounds and kind of go from there. All right,
Okay.
Jacques, I forget who went first last week. I think, I don't know, whatever. Like, who
I think it
should we
was
go?
you. I could go first. I go first.
You go first. Okay, are we doing
Um
snake draft or are we doing just alternate this time?
let's do alternate. Let's do alternate.
Alternate. Okay, so you'll start first. Okay.
I think the first one that comes to mind is the Adidas NMD.
Ah, that is a very good choice. Very good choice. Very
I
good
feel
choice.
like that one had a nice little run, and now no one even talks about it or even remembers it for the most part. So when it
Yeah.
comes to this sneaker had a moment, I think the Adidas NMD is probably high, very high up on the list over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, man. That was like at the height of when Boost was the most important thing in the world, like the most important sneaker thing in the world, where like anything
Yeah.
you slap Boost on a sneaker, it was like automatic sellout. But yeah, NMD was definitely the one that was like Ultra Boost, like it comes and goes, it has like its ebbs and flows. Like I feel like maybe it could make
Yeah.
this list, but also I could also see it not making a list because it's like it's still maintained. But NMD is definitely for like a year, like multiple colorways all the time, like
All the
dropping.
time.
Yeah, and like you had like your what was it? Their prime knit versions, and then your mesh versions, and then you had your Pharrells, which
Yeah.
maybe came too late. Like I feel like if they had introduced the Pharrell NMDs a little bit earlier, maybe it would have like made the NMDs a little bit more sustainable. But yeah, it kind of NMDs were a thing. NMDs were definitely a thing. If you were not around for that time, I don't want to say you missed out, but you definitely missed out on like, whoa, that was a sneaker that had a
Yeah.
moment, and then just kind of wait, no one even cares about it
Yep.
anymore. So
There was a moment for that. Yeah.
yeah, so now for my pick, I'm gonna go with the Nike equivalent of that, and that's the Nike Roshi Run, because
Yeah.
that was basically like the NMD equivalent for Nike. It was like, man, for what was it, 2012 was it when the Roshi Run was introduced? It was affordable. But
That
so
went
people said
crazy though.
that was
That
the big
went
part of it too.
crazy.
It was versatile where you had just all sorts of different colorways drop. You had like your Yeezy homages, the Nike ID went crazy. And I think a huge part of it was just the affordability. It was like, what was it using? Like Solar Soft or something, like a Solar Soft tooling. And it was just easy to wear. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like, here's the thing. People say it's the most comfortable thing, but like, yeah, for like walking, but like the actual upper itself, I just never was particularly sold on it. Like it
Not a
didn't feel
fan.
comfy.
Not a
Not a
fan.
fan.
I think I owned one, maybe two pair of Roshis, and
Yeah.
I probably wore them one time.
Not sold on it.
Like
You were just not a
I
fan.
could
Yeah.
get yeah, I just could not get
Yeah.
behind the hype. I get it though. I
Yeah.
get it though.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
it was definitely like important. It was an important moment where it's like, man, it just kind of fell off a cliff though. Same thing with the MNDs, right? It was
yeah.
just, No one like we just had that moment, and then like Nike would try through the years, like bring it back, but it just never took.
Yeah.
And now
Never, it
Roshi is
never, it
just
never.
yeah, Roshi is just relegated to the history books as like, man, Roshi's cool. That was a thing.
Yeah, none of the returns of the Roshi or the NMD for that matter really popped off.
Totally,
So
totally.
with keeping that in mind, I'm gonna throw a little bit of a curveball here,
Ooh, okay.
and I'm gonna go with the Nike Space Hippie collection.
Ah, that's a good one.
So
That's an interesting one.
those had a nice moment. They did a couple of colorways of the '03, I think it was. I think it was the '03. It got a couple of different colorways, but it never popped the way that everybody thought it was. Like they had this
Mhm.
nice upper, they had they're nice and comfortable. Like I have a pair right up there that I still wear to this day. Just, I switch it out with my Spiridons basically by the door, and I switch it out between the O3s and the Spiridon as my everyday run around shoe.
Nice.
The Spiridon's
Mhm.
a little easier to wear just because it's a little more color neutral, whereas the Space Hippies are like gray and orange. So,
Yeah.
that kind of limits my options of what I can wear. But overall, I thought it was a dope shoe. It had a very big moment. Or I should say collection of shoes. They had a very big moment.
Yeah.
I even bought the '01 because I wanted them so bad, and I've never worn them. So
Aw.
kind of,
Hey,
yeah,
it's still
sucks.
there though, right? You
Sucks.
still have it, right?
Yeah, it's still there. I'll wear them one day. I just don't know when.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you'll break it off one day. Like eventually. Here's the thing with Jack Slade is like I make fun of like, oh, he has this huge collection and everything, but he wears everything. Like
I
it might
do.
take him a couple of years because there is so many. Oof, but he will get to it eventually.
It's true.
Wear your
It's
kicks,
true.
people. Wear your kicks.
Wear
All right,
your
so for
kicks.
my next pick, I'm gonna go. I feel like this is a slam dunk one. I'm gonna go with the Jordan Futures. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
like
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Jordan's attempt at a lifestyle version of the Air Jordan, and it worked. I feel like it was a very like with the woven upper, which was I guess inspired by like was it the Footscape? Um,
Yeah.
it was very cool for the time. Like I thought it was going to be something that had some staying power, but just like with the NMDs and the Roshis, I feel like maybe they overplayed their hand and they made too
Mm.
many too soon,
Yeah.
and people just kind of fell off it. Now, I've made the joke through the years that it's Skip Bayless's fault that the Jordan Futures went to hell because he started
Accurate
wearing it,
statement.
and the
Accurate
popularity
statement.
of the Futures kind of waned after that. So I'm not gonna put it all on Skip, even though it's a half serious joke. I'm not saying it's like all the way, but it's also not saying it's not the reason why Jordan Futures fell off. But yeah, I mean Jordan Futures, that and the NMDs are definitely in the running for most sneakers that I received on seating lists through the years.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Oh
oh
yeah.
my God, I had so many Jordan Futures here at the house. I had the red ones, what was it, like the Jordan Brand Classic, what was it, like the one for the high school kids? There was like a Volt one.
Wings. No, not
Yeah, yeah.
wings.
No, no, no. It's like for
Not
the Jordan Brand
wings.
Classic for the high school kids. Like,
Jordan Brand
what was it,
Classic.
like
Yeah,
black?
there you go.
Yeah. There was the white and Volt pair. Oh my God. I wore that once and I was like, woo, this is way too
Yeah.
bright. But also
Yeah.
screw it. I'll wear it because, whatever, it's free. But yeah, man, like Futures definitely had a moment. It's they did too much. And I'm sad that they haven't brought it back since. Maybe in another 10 years, maybe there's still the stink of like back then. Like if we wait another
Holding
maybe
on to
decade or
hope.
so.
Holding
Yeah,
on.
holding on to hope, right? Holding on to hope, and then Skip also comes back and he wears that too, and you're like, oh damn it, no one. This is why we left it in the first place. But
Yeah.
anyways, you are up next with your next pick.
So this one, again, I would say a little controversial. I'm gonna go with Flyknit as a whole.
Mm,
I thought Flyknit was going to be a lasting thing with Nike,
right.
but it's slowly but surely gone away. You don't really
Mm.
see it much anymore, or they don't mention it anymore. I know they've been refining it a little bit, but you don't really hear much about it. And it was billed as this like help it can mold to your foot and the exact shape of
Yeah.
your foot, and you can get like custom shoes on demand, and none of that stuff came to fruition,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. And the shoes were comfortable. I have a pair of Flyknit Jordan 1s that are amazing. I have a pair
Mhm.
of Flyknit Chukkas that are absolutely amazing, but they're gone now. You don't hear about them. It's like they disappeared
Yeah.
into the ether and to be never seen again.
RIP to the Flyknit racers, man. Like, I love Flyknit racers. It's
Yes.
just, man, every once in a while, I'll look at my pair and be like, "Oh, we were great once.
We
We
were
had a
great
moment."
once. Yeah.
Man, remember those times? But part of it too is like, man, I don't think I could fit in those anymore too. Like, I feel like I've
Oh.
stretched the knit too much, or it's like, ugh. It might, I like maybe after a decade later, it's like, oh, I don't think these things are gonna hold now. Like, I think
Oh, okay.
like the expiration date has way passed or something like that. It might not work out for me so well.
Your Best Buy date is it's over. The Best Buy date. I got you. Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
totally. All right, so for my next pick, I'm gonna go with uh, would you say that the Jeremy Scott wing sneakers are had a
Oh,
moment?
yeah.
Is that niche or is
Yeah.
that too niche? Do you think that's too niche? Or
No,
do you
no, I
think like,
think Jeremy Scott Adidas collab period, I think,
yeah,
kind of came and went. Like that relationship, almost like that relationship soured
yeah.
for some
Like,
reason.
yeah, whether it was like what was wasn't that weird controversial thing where they had like the was it like a stuffed toy? It was like chained to something. Maybe that was
Yeah, the
kind of thing that
bear that
kind of
was
did it.
I think it was a bear that was chained to it, I think.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
whole weird saga. But yeah, I mean, for a couple years prior, like, the Jeremy Scott wing sneakers, like it was very much the hipster shoe where a lot of
Yes.
people definitely wore those to be like, part of the cool kids, right? And that's why I thought maybe it's too niche for this, but at the same time, like, no, it got a lot of coverage. It got a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
attention on the blogs and, a lot of people wearing it on social. So I'm like, yeah, maybe it could work here. But yeah, no, Jeremy Scott was definitely like the pre-Kanye, like he was like the biggest like collaborator, like
Yeah.
before Yamamoto, even like I don't know like what the timeline is, whether Y3 showed up before Jeremy Scott, but like he was like their biggest thing for a while, like originals, right? I think
Mm.
I swear I don't know if like Mandela affecting this, where like I swear this happened, but like I remember us, you were there, we were at the Adidas original store in Melrose, and Jeremy Scott was there. And I forget, it was like a small thing, but like I remember he was doing like a appearance. I swear you were
Mhm.
there. And
I think
like
so.
yeah, and I think like one of his fans showed up and she was like so happy and emotional. She was like almost crying to like meet Jerry Scott or something. I swear this happened. And this is one of those things that's like, oh, Juan, you're just making stuff up now. I'm like, no, I think this
I think
pretty
this is
sure there's
real.
like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm 95% sure this is real. Yeah.
yeah, where it's like, I'm pretty sure I saw like one of Jeremy Scott's fans show up to like meet Jeremy Scott and was just so overwhelmed by meeting him that she was like on the verge of tears and was just so happy to see him.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
good
it's
for
like,
her.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like, but that was the effect that he had for a moment
Yep.
with Adidas. So yeah, man, shout out to those. And I never had a pair of those JS wings. I almost want to have one just to
Neither did
have it,
I.
right?
Just to
It's
have it
like,
as a collector's item.
yeah, as a
Yeah.
collector's thing, yeah. I never actually wear it in purpose because, like, I always felt like when I see those, I'm like, don't you just kind of like when you're walking around, just should like kind of hit stuff from
Yes.
behind or something?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
almost is like it's the most impractical sneaker.
Yeah. 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 All right. For my next one, I oscillated between two different ones, but I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to go with the Nike Hyper Adapt.
Ah, that's very good. That's a very good one.
Yeah, I have two pairs of those shoes. They're in my storage, and it looks like they're not gonna see the light of day anymore because I don't think the Nike app works, and I don't
Nope.
even know if they'd wirelessly charge at this point because
Yeah.
how long is are those batteries supposed to last?
Yeah.
So I should
Yeah.
probably go to my storage unit and see
That'd be a
what I
fun
can
video. That'd be a fun
see if they
video
still
to
work.
like see if it works. Yeah.
I doubt they work anymore, but it'd be cool to go visit and just check it out.
Shout out to those. I always wanted the one that looked like the Nike mag. Um,
Yeah.
Fortunately, was not cool enough to get one of those or would ever willingly pay the resale price for those. I remember they were like 500, $600 a resale. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm all right.
Yeah, they
If
were
I'm not gonna pay that,
already yeah.
yeah. If I'm not gonna pay that for the actual Nike mags, I'm not gonna pay that for hyper adapts. So, but
Right.
yeah, we wanted to
Rightly so.
believe. We wanted to believe in those hyper adapts. I think we all were like hoping this would be like the future. It just, yeah, not so much. Not so
Just
much.
never came to fruition. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for my next pick, I think I'm gonna go in the way back for this one.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna go with the Reebok S Carters, S. Dot Carters slash
Oh,
the G
okay.
units. Like I
Yeah.
feel like those. What was it like the early 2000s? Man, everybody wanted a pair. I wanted some S. Dot Carters. I never got some S. Dot Carters. I was kind of sad about it. I had a pair of the G units. Kind of regret that purchase in hindsight.
I don't know,
Just
man. 50's 50.
I know I shouldn't say that because 50 might come for me. Now that I said that, he's the most pettiest dude in the world. I'm like, I'm sorry, 50.
Yes.
I love the G units.
I love it. We love it. We love it. We
Yeah.
love it 50.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to those. It was just the 2000s were a thing. Everybody wanted a pair of those, man. Like, even though I guess there was some talks about like, oh, they just copied whatever, like Gucci sneaker or whatever, especially like the Jay-Z ones, but whatever, who cares?
Uh-huh.
It was definitely a thing. And I'm really shocked that Reebok has not gone to that well again, whether it was like just a limited thing or just to work with Jay again, just to work with 50 again. I mean, I think they did like a very, very small run just for 50, but they never did
Uh-huh.
like an actual collab once again. So I'm kind of shocked they didn't do that. But maybe with Shaq and AI in tow, like, as president, vice president, maybe they get that kind of nostalgia hit again. Because I think people would kind of go crazy for those now, or maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. 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 It's a different time now. And those were a little, I mean, running shoes are in now. So
Yeah,
they had that running shoe look. So maybe now is the time for them.
yeah, totally. And I think you have one more pick, and then I have one more
Oh,
pick
do
that
I
I think
have one
would.
more?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that was our fourth. Yeah. So last round.
I'm gonna go. Oh, that's a good one. What's my last one? I feel like I've been, let me turn around and look and see what I have here. I feel like I've been picking on Nike, so I feel like I gotta have something else. There's a ton of, where is it? Where is it? There was this a Puma shoe that had these little balls. They had like the boost balls
Oh,
inside of the bubble.
yeah. I remember.
I
It's not the
can't
Joy.
think of
No,
the
no, those are
name
the
of
Nike
the
Joyrides.
shoe.
I'm sorry, but we're talking about yeah, no, the Nike. The Nike
Oh,
called them the
Nike had the
Joyrides.
Joyrides, but
But
Puma
what
had
was
something
Puma's?
else.
Oh,
Let me look it up. Let me see.
yeah, they had. I know what you're talking about, but like when I think of those, I think of like the Nike version of it, which is like the Joyride or something. But Puma definitely had like their like pebble, like was it like tiny little boost ball looking things.
Yeah.
Um, Puma has okay, all right. I think I found it. Um, it's called jamming. Is it jamming or is it energy? Energy.
Yeah, I think it was
Uh,
something like that.
all right, but yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. Um, but was that exactly the name of the tech? Was it the
Jamming, yeah, all new jamming Cushing model.
Yeah, boy,
Yeah,
I
jamming. That's what it was
that's
called.
that is not what I thought the name was. I could have sworn it was something else. I would have been so wrong if someone had said, "Hey, remember the Puma jamming?" I'd be like, "What are you talking about? All the things with the beads? That's called the jamming?"
Yeah,
Wow, could have fooled me. Could have fooled
yeah,
me.
the jamming Cushing sneak. Maybe that wasn't the name. Maybe that's just what they were. Maybe so.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I think it's it.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe the Puma jamming tech.
yeah. I guess this is why maybe Puma's falling off is they did not do a good job of marketing.
Of marketing, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, this has
And
been
to
a
be
ride for
fair,
Puma.
it was a comfortable shoe. I
Oh,
will
okay.
say
So
that it was a
you
comfortable
tried them.
shoe
You
because
tried them.
I have or had a pair. I don't know if it's still here,
Mm.
but I remember having a pair, and they didn't make the cut for me. They didn't make the cut for the kid.
Oh no. All right. So for my last pick, gosh, I think I'm gonna go with would it be wrong to say the KD4s? Would it be mean to say the KD4s? Would it be because it's retroed and no
No,
one
because
cared?
I think those are signature shoes, so I think those are going to automatically kind of go out of style every year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right.
I feel like we can't really
Yeah,
include signature shoes. I feel like that's kind of cheating a
yeah.
little bit.
There's you're right, you're right. Like it's almost like planned obsolescence, right? Where it's like,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, yeah, okay. So in light of that, yeah, maybe KD4 like that might be cheating just because like I just feel like with the KD4 it just had like this moment and then it just
Yes.
never reached that same heights again. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's like, but I think that's also part of the plan. Is like part of the
Mhm.
reason is like every year is always the new thing,
Yep.
which I'm glad that brands are kind of getting away from that, like
Yep.
getting away from the
Yep.
every year
100%.
cycle. With that in mind, oh gosh, now I am kind of running it. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with the N1 Thai cheese. Just N1 in
Oh,
general,
okay.
really. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with
Okay.
N1, that was if when you say N1, you think of those sneakers, right? You think of the
Yes.
especially the white and red pair that Vince Carter wore when he
Yep.
won the dunk contest. But at the same time, I think N1 has tried to bring those back, but it just hasn't hit.
Yeah.
So, but it N1 definitely from what was it like the 90, let's say 96 to like 2001? Between that and the mixtapes, like N1 was like I don't know how big they got. Maybe they got up to like number 2 or 3 in brand in
Yeah.
basketball, but they definitely had a moment. And I couldn't name you a single N1 sneaker besides the Thai cheese, to be quite honest. And I
I
apologize. Like
couldn't
if
either.
if that if that is a hit on my sneaker bona fides or my resume, so be it. But I'm just to be totally honest with you, I can't think of any other N1 sneaker besides the Thai cheese.
I can't either. I don't even know. No, not even a little bit.
Yeah,
Not even a little
yeah.
bit.
And that's why N1 is where they are, and that's why Puma is where they are. Question mark. We'll see. But
Question mark, we'll
anyways,
see.
that
Maybe,
was
maybe.
well, maybe. Who knows? Maybe Juan Martinez and Jacques Slade will someday own Puma.
Yeah, you know what? Let's not poo-poo that idea. Maybe so.
Let's put that out there in the universe, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be Shaq and I'll be Allen Iverson. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
They, that's perfect.
All right, with that in mind, that was episode 65 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Once again, I am your co-host, Juan Martinez, and Jacques Slade with the shameless plugs.
I am Jacques Slade. Thank you guys for watching / listening. I told you it was going to be an interesting show. I had some good things to
It
talk
went
about this week.
places.
Hope you guys and gals enjoyed whether you were watching or if you were listening. Make sure you leave us a good review. Make sure you recommend to your family and to your friends and let them know, hey, we're doing something cool over here and you guys really enjoy it. With that being said, I'm Jacques Slade. That's Juan. If you want to reach us by email, it's too hard to pass podcast at gmail.com. Too hard to pass podcast at gmail.com. Use the number 2. With that being said, we're out of here. Peace.
We out. Don't buy steaks from random people.